my channel, and thank you for checking out my channel. In today's video, I'm heading to the northern part of Israel, the place where King Saul, you know, the first king of Israel, his name was King Saul. The place where he died, or he committed suicide, when the Israelites and the Philistines were fighting. So now I want to tell you what time it is, guys. Look at the time. Guys, it's 5:30 in the morning, but because it's summer, that is why you see that it's almost, you can say it's 7 o'clock in the morning, but no, it's 5:30 in the morning. This is our first stop over for people to drink coffee and maybe to visit the Sherutim or WC. So guys, thank you so much. And now it's a road trip. We are taking road trip, me and you, to Mount Gilboa and the Valley of Jezreel, or the Valley of Megiddo. Remember the Armageddon battle, the battle between good and evil, where the kings of the world will meet. You know, the battle between good and evil. That is where we are going. So guys, I'll explain more about the place when we reach there. Look at my queen friend.
Puerto!
Say something in Tagalog.
Hi! Good morning! Magandang umaga! Welcome to our vlog!
Okay, so once again, we are in the midst of Jezreel Valley. For the benefit of the viewers of the vlogger Veronica.
Yes.
Alright, so on the left side once again, that is the Shulam. Okay, that mountain, and then on your 10:30 direction, that is another mountain, and that is known as Moray. We're in the battle of Gideon and his 200 soldiers fought against the Midianites. So welcome to the biblical land of Israel, the beautiful land of Israel, the heartland of the Bible.
guys, from Mount Gilboa. I'm already here. We are already here. That is called Jezreel Valley, or the Valley of Megiddo. Mount Redeem, Mount Bacan. Mount. Wow, look at this. Mount Gilead. The view of Jezreel Valley from Mount Gilboa. The Valley of Jezreel, or the Valley of Megiddo. On this side, wow, let me sit. On this side, guys, where I am seated is Mount Gilboa. In the book of 1 Samuel 31, 1 Samuel 31, guys, I want to read. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the Israelites fled before them, and many fell dead at Mount Gilboa. The Philistines were in hot pursuit of Saul and his sons, and they killed his sons Jonathan, Abinadab, and Malchishua. The fighting grew fierce aloud Saul, and when the archers overtook him, they wounded him critically. Saul said to his armor bearer, "Draw your sword and run me through, or these uncircumcised fellows will come and run me through and abuse me." But his armor bearer was terrified and would not do it. So Saul took his own sword and fell on it. When the armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he too fell on his sword and died with him. So Saul and his 3 sons and his armor bearer and all his men died together that same day. You can continue reading the whole of chapter 31 of 1 Samuel, and you see what happened. Because later on, the Philistines took the body. Let's read something. Let's read verse 8. The next day, when the Philistines came to strip the dead, they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen at Mount Gilboa. They cut off his head and stripped off his armor, and they sent messengers throughout the land of the Philistines to proclaim the news in the temple of their gods and among their people. They put his armor in the temple of Ashtoreth and fastened his body to the wall of Beth-shan. When we were coming, guys, on the road, you saw there were signs about this place called Beth-shan. So that is where the Bible has written about it in 1 Samuel chapter 31. So what happened when the people of Jabesh Gilead heard what the Philistines had done to Saul? With their valiant men marched through the night to Beth-shan. They took down the bodies of Saul and his sons from the wall of Beth-shan and went to Jabesh, where they buried them. Then they took their bones and buried, and they fasted 7 days. So that is this place, Mount Gilboa. That is what happened at Mount Gilboa. Samuel chapter 1 verse 21. when David heard about the sad news of King Saul's death, he wept bitterly, heartbroken at the loss of his king and his best friend. He cursed the mountains of Gilboa in the lament of the bow. And he said, "O mountains of Gilboa, may you have neither dew, nor rain, nor fields that yield offerings of gain." Guys, see the battle between Philistines and the Israelites, where King Saul died. The Valley of Megiddo, where the battle between good and evil, Armageddon battle, will be fought. King Josiah was killed by the king of Egypt, King Neco. King Neco was going to fight the Assyrians, but he had to pass through the tribe of the land of Judah. So he asked King Josiah for permission, but Josiah went out to engage him. But Neco sent messengers to him saying, "What have we to do with each other, O King of Judah? I'm not coming against you today, but against the house with which I'm at war. And God has ordered me to hurry. Stop for your own sake from interfering with God, who is with me, so that he will not destroy you." However, Josiah would not turn away from him, but disgusted him in order to make war with him. Nor did he listen to the words of Neco from the mouth of God, but came to make war on the plain of Megiddo. The plain of Megiddo. The archers shot him, and the king said to his servant, "Take me away, for I am badly wounded." So his servant took him out of the chariot and carried him in a second chariot, which he had, and brought him to Jerusalem. where he died and was buried in the tombs of his fathers at Megiddo, the Valley of Megiddo. Valley of Megiddo. And where I'm standing on Mount Gilboa. Behind me, it's where Saul fell on his sword and died instead of surrendering to his enemies. At this Jezreel Valley, Gideon, you remember Gideon? Gideon was a man that had come from not such well-up family, because even when God called him the mighty man of Valor, Gideon asked God. I think we need to read about. I think we need to read something about Gideon at the Valley of Megiddo. Let me look for the verse in the Bible, in the Old Testament, at Tanakh, the Old Testament, about Gideon, the mighty man of Valor. Judges chapter 6. It talks about Gideon. Gideon battle with the Midianites. According to the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament, the Tanakh, the Megiddo Valley was the scene of a victory by the Israelites, led by Gideon, against the Midianites, the Amalekites, and the children of East. You can find that in Judges chapter 6. It says that, Judges chapter 6 verse 12, it says that Gideon was, his work was to thresh wheat. And when the Lord called him, he called him and told him, "The Lord is with you, mighty man of Valor." The book of Judges chapter 6, from verse 1. The Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord, and for 7 years he gave them into the hands of the Midianites, because the power of Midian was so oppressive. The Israelites prepared shelters for themselves in mountain caves and caves and strongholds. Verse 7, it says that when the Israelites cried unto the Lord because of Midian, he sent them a prophet who said, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. I rescued you from the hand of the Egyptians, and I delivered you from the hand of all oppressions." 6 verse 11 says, "The angel of the Lord came and sat down under the oak in Ophrah that belonged to Joash, where his son Gideon." So Gideon was the son of Joash, who was threshing wheat in a winepress to keep it from the Midianites. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon, he said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." And Gideon, he was not a mighty warrior, so he was like, "Pardon me, my Lord?" Gideon replied, "But if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Why are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about when they said, 'Did not the Lord bring us out of Egypt?'" So we continue and continue and continue. And verse 15, verse 14, it says that the Lord turned to him and said, "Go in the strength you have and serve Israel, and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you?" Then Gideon continued to reply. And verse 15, it says, Gideon says, "Pardon me, my Lord, but how can I save Israel?" My clan is the weakest in Manasseh, because Gideon belonged to the tribe of Manasseh. And by the way, Manasseh, the tribe of Manasseh, were the people that had received the fertile land in Israel. So Gideon says, my Lord, my tribe or my clan is the poorest among the tribe of Manasseh. Then, and I'm in the least in the family. The Lord answered, I'll be with you, and we will strike down all the Midianites, leave none alive. And Gideon continues to negotiate and reply. So Gideon replied, if now I have found favor in your eyes, give me a sign that is really you that is talking to me. Please do not go away until I come back and bring my offering and set it before you. The Lord said, I'll wait until you return. You see, there is magic. Or, you know, Gideon knew. All the people, the Old Testament people knew that before you can receive any favor, you have to bring an offering or to sacrifice, build an altar for the Lord. That's what they usually, that is what they usually did. So Gideon promised the angel of the Lord that, wait, that I may bring an offering. So Gideon went inside, prepared a young goat, and from an ephah of flour he made bread without yeast, putting the meat in a basket and its broth in a pot. He brought them out and offered them to him under the oak. The angel of God said to him, take the meat and the unleavened bread, place them on this rock, and pour out the broth. And Gideon did so. Then the angel of the Lord touched the meat and the unleavened bread with the tip of the staff that was in his hand. Fire flared from the Lord, consuming the meat and the bread. The angel of the Lord disappeared. When Gideon realized that it was the angel of the Lord, he explained, alas, sovereign Lord, I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face. So anyway, you see, Gideon sees the angel and knows that this is an angel, and he's excited, but he's not contented. He wants still to prove God, so that he will know that for sure God and save the Israelites. So he continues. Let's see verse 25. Okay, no, let's start with verse 22 of Judges 6. Verse 23 says, but the Lord said to him, peace, do not be afraid, you are not going to die. So Gideon built an altar to the Lord there and called it, the Lord is peace. To this day it stands in uprights. The same night the Lord said to him, take the second bull from your father's herd, and 7-year-old, tear down your father's altar of Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Then build a proper kind of altar to the Lord your God on the top of his height. Gideon wanted to know whether God has sent him. So he said that, please God, don't be angry with me. Let's see in verse verse 36, it says that Gideon said to God, if you will save Israel by my hand, as you had promised, look, I will place a wool I'll place a wool freeze on the threshing floor. If there is dew only on the freeze and all the ground is dry, then you will know that Then I'll know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you said. And that is what happened. Gideon rose early the next day. He squeezed the freeze and wrung out the dew, a bowlful of water. Then Gideon said to God, do not be angry with me. Let me make just one more request. Allow me one more wrist with the freeze. But this time, make the freeze dry and let the ground be covered with dew. That night, God did so. Only the freeze was dry and all the ground was covered with dew. Valley of Megiddo. Megiddo means a place of crowds, a gathering of people, because on the Valley of Megiddo, that is where many battles, the Israelites battles with different armies. That is the place where the battles were fought. Gideon, when he was called by God, because God called him, that he's the one who's going to save Israel from the Midianites, and the people from east. So Gideon chose his armies, but God told him that these people, there are too many, that if you go to battle with the Midianites, with this group of armies, Israel will say that it's because of our army that we fought and won. So God told him that, no, these people are too many. So Gideon went and told the people who had gathered to go to war, and told them that if you are afraid to go to war, just go back. So 22,000 went back. Then God told him, still, these people are too many. So I want you to go to the spring, and do as I command. Choose them as I command. The people that will drink water by bending their knees to drink water, like dogs, those ones said away. But them that will drink water with their hearts, they will bend and knee and take water with their hearts, those are the men that you are going to take with you to the war. And the men that drank water with their hearts were 300 men. And those are the men that he took to war, for the battle. And for sure, when he listened and did what God had commanded him, he won the battle. But remember, before he agreed to do this, he told God, I want to put you to test. I want to put a piece of wool. And in the morning, when I wake up and I find that there is a dew on the piece of wool and the ground is dry, then I'll believe you. Then it happened. Then the following day, he told God another test about the wool. If only the ground will be wet and the wool will be dry, I'll believe you. You know, it's about putting, it's about putting, I think these days we believe too much about, if we believe somebody's a man of God, he tell you something, you believe. No, I think we need to be testing the spirit and testing God. God also needs to speak with you. So, guys, I love you. Valley of Megiddo. There's something here. After the death of Saul, David had already returned from defeating the Amalekites. David stayed 2 days in Ziklag. happened? Asked David. How do you know? David asked the young man who brought him the news that Saul and his son Jonathan are dead. Wow. See, everything written in the Bible, never doubt it. All these places that you see written in the Bible, they still exist up to now. King Saul. King Saul was the first king of Israel. Because before Saul, Israel was ruled by judges. And the people begged or asked God that they want a king. God did not want Israel to be ruled by kings, but they demanded for a king, and God gave them Saul. And Saul was anointed by Samuel, the prophet. So Saul was a member of the tribe of Benjamin, one of the tribes of Israel. He came from Gibeah. Saul married Ahinoam, daughter of Ahimaaz, with whom he got four sons: Jonathan, Abinadab, Malchishua, and Ishbosheth, and two daughters, Merab and Michal. That was the first wife of David, because David had a second wife that was called Abigail. And still Saul had a concubine by the name Rizpah, the Rizpah daughter of Allah, who bore him two sons, that is Ammoni and Mephibosheth. Wow, guys, look at that. That is breathtaking. We find that after the death of Saul, his 7 sons were killed in revenge of violence against Gibeonites. You can find that in 2 Samuel chapter 21. The only male that survived from King Saul, Mephibosheth, Jonathan's lame son. Mephibosheth was a lame son, and that is the only surviving male descendant of Saul that remained. Mephibosheth became lame when the nurse who was nursing him, because he was 5 years old when his father and grandfather died at the battle of Mount Gilboa. So the nurse was afraid, and she was landing with a child, I think on her back, or how she was carrying the child, and the child fell. And from then, he was throughout his life, he could not walk again. I'm sweating. I know I'm sweating so much, and it's only 6:30. It's summer. I think it's 35 degrees C. Now you can imagine, that is why we always leave very early in the morning. Like today, we started the journey like 4:30, so that at least after this, you know, we are going swimming. Mephibosheth means from the mouth of shame, because he was lame. So David took him in. David, you remember David? King David was the son-in-law of Saul, so the king. Because when David killed Goliath, Saul gave him his daughter as a gift. You know, like, you've won the battle, you removed the shame of Israel from the Philistines, so I'm going to give you my daughter. That was good. Anyway, so guys, I love you so much, and thank you for your love from Mount Gilboa. I love you. So guys, put a comment below and tell me what you think about Mount Gilboa and the Valley of Jezreel, or the Valley of Megiddo, or the Plain of Megiddo. Just let me know what you think about it, or you can add to the Bible reference. Tell me what you think about it, about the book of Revelation. Just write and let me know. And I love you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting what I'm doing. I really appreciate you, and I'm so honored, humbled, and thank you so much. God bless you. From Mount Gilboa, shalom, and I'll see you again in a few days' time. Thank you.